Welcome to Falcon Update here on YBTV. I'm Emma Dingus.
And I'm James Hellman. We have a great show for you tonight, but before we get any further, Ethan Gregory is with us in the Union to learn more about the potential SGA candidates for next year.
Thank you, James, and thank you, Emma. I'm standing here inside the Larson Student Union, where I'll be hosting the Meet the Candidates event later. We have one pair running for Student Body President this year, Tyree Cowan running for Student Body President, and Caleb Curtis running under him as his Vice President. Now, contrary to previous years, where when you only have one pair running, they automatically get voted in. The rules have changed, and now they require a 10% vote from the student population in order to be confirmed as the next student body president and vice president. We'll be recording everything here on YBTV. It'll be up on our YouTube page tomorrow. Thank you. And if you're not able to be here or present, please take a look at it tomorrow as it gets uploaded. Sending it back to James and Emma at the desk.
Thank you, Ethan. HRA held a food security trivia night in Jordan Lounge. Students enjoyed refreshments while competing in teams to answer trivia questions concerning food issues in the community, nation, and world. Everyone had a chance to win sustainability-related prizes such as plants and dryer balls. The event raised awareness about food insecurity and encouraged more sustainable behaviors moving forward.
Within on campus, just make sure simple things like getting a compost bucket so your food doesn't go to waste, and we can use that for our soil and our community garden that feeds people around Harrisburg and also feeds students alike. Or even making sure that your recycles doesn't go in a trash bag, because trash bags aren't recyclable. Just being aware of those things and how you can make change that way.
Sustainability and how other HRA events, follow them on Instagram at HRA Messiah.
The Office of Sustainability got to the root of reducing, reusing, and recycling Wednesday afternoon at the Eisenhower Commons. In partnership with the Campus Race to Zero Waste campaign, the Office of Sustainability gave away plants Wednesday afternoon. Students were encouraged to bring their own pots, mugs, or planters, while some even brought empty food containers and cups to be recycled for good. For more information on what the Office of Sustainability has to offer, visit them at their office in Eisenhower or follow them on Instagram at messiah.sustainability.
This past Thursday, Associate Professor of Music Olivia Ellis partnered with musicians Joan Wallace and Davis DeRoe to perform at the High Foundation Center Recital Hall as a triple threat trio. The trio played music pieces meant for multiple people, and Ellis spoke on the joys of playing in a group.
It was a lot of fun to be able to play with friends. Sometimes as pianists we then end up playing solo music quite a bit, so it's nice to be able to play duets and trios with other people. But also the piano repertoire is so huge. It just spans hundreds and hundreds of years, and there's so many different composers and styles that you can get such variety like we did tonight. So it was a lot of fun to share different kinds of pieces and feature a female composer and composers you may not have heard before, and also some standard works.
SAB hosted a Family Feud event in the Larson Student Union. Students formed teams of 4 to 5 players, competing against each other in a round-robin style tournament inspired by America's famous game show. 3 teams entered, but only one could come out on top and walk away with the grand prize, a $50 gift card to any establishment of their choice. We sat down with SAB executive Marissa Carr, who organized the event, to get more information.
We are holding a Family Feud event. So I wanted to do Family Feud because it's a popular show, very good in pop culture, and so that a new way to engage students. I really hope that in the future we do bring back more game show type events, because for me they're super fun to plan, and people that come and participate in them always have fun. They always are smiling, laughing, 'cause it's just a fun time hanging out with your friends, doing something cool and different on a Friday night.
Exciting events like this, be sure to check out SAB on Instagram, MSI SAB.
The Humanities Symposium is a great way to learn about the importance of living digitally. Jessica Fannin has the scoop. Let's take a look.
The Humanities Symposium is an event put on by faculty that takes almost 2 years of preparation, and it is finally here. Let's go check it out.
The symposium brings together a community of students, professors, and keynote speakers, like renowned scholar Marianne Wolf, to examine how our digital lives are reshaping everything from education to personal connections.
I was able to sponsor a student panel called Imago Dei, Self-Portraits in a Digital Era. And so students, we got to show some of their projects and have symposium-style discussion. That's just one of many of the panels, but all of them try to touch on living digitally or some aspect of the digital experience, whether it's the digital spiritual experience or an academic experience.
Tara Whitehead, a key organizer of the event, shares her favorite part about the symposium.
I really love being able to see my colleagues present their pedagogy strategies and their teaching, and then see the student projects.
The remarkable turnout and the insightful conversations from the Humanities Symposium will continue to resonate within our community, shaping how we engage with the digital world in the future.
This was certainly an event to remember. For YBTV, I'm Jessica Fannin.
We'll be right back with more Falcon Update after this break.
Sort of under the impression that I needed to find like one thing that was my thing, and that there was somehow greater purpose in finding that one thing. But what I learned from studying at Messiah with a liberal arts education, with an education that really dignifies a number of pursuits, was that yes, I'm called to certain things in certain times in my life, but the adventure continues. All the things that God has given us are good things. They all can be ways in which we can further the kingdom, ways in which we can do good in our world. And so the adventure of finding which one to engage in at which time and how to do the best you can with the opportunity before you is one that we should all be enjoying, that God has given us. And that's a perspective that I credit Messiah with helping me form and helping me see.
Welcome back to Falcon Update. I'm Emma Dingus.
And I'm James Hellman. Emma, what has been your favorite memory of this semester?
Well, James, it's been a good semester, I'll say. But I got to say, I got to go to a disco in D.C. a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And, I mean, it was just fantastic. It was a great time of dancing and hanging out with friends. It was ABBA themed, so I got to live out all my Mamma Mia dreams, Okay. It was just a great time.
So I got to know then, ABBA themed, you said? Were you the dancing queen of the night?
Debatable. I'm not gonna, I'll be, I won't say. But how about you?
Well, Emma, growing up, I was a bit of a wrestling fan, WWE, and I got to say this year we've kind of found a group, you included, that have enjoyed watching some of those events together. So we hosted a little Royal Rumble party. If you watch WWE, you might know what that is. So that was a fun time. Or I also went to DC with a couple friends. We went to a live wrestling show, and that was a good time. And I just got to say, for anybody at home that doesn't think, wrestling's cool. It's just television. It's a storyline, and it's a lot of fun. But you know what wasn't cool? It was really cold around campus last week, but we finally found some relief over the weekend. Let's see what Jessica Fannin has to say about this week's Falcon Forecast. Jessica?
Hello and welcome to Falcon Forecast. I'm Jessica Fannin, and today was a beautiful day. We had some sun, it was a little warmer outside, I didn't even wear my winter coat. So let's take a look at what we're dealing with right now. So right now we're at 47 degrees, it's overcast, our high today was 53 degrees, our low will be 37. We have a 10% chance of precipitation right now, and our humidity is currently 39%. So let's take a look at Tuesday. So Tuesday is a little bit all over the place. Sunrise will be at 6:48 a.m., and we are expected to get some rain around 3 p.m. That's about a 40% chance. So let's take a look at our surface map. So our surface map is a little chaotic, which I love. There's a lot to break down, lots of colors, so let me break it down for you guys. We have a front that is coming through in the earlier part of the week that is going to bring some light rain, and just warmer temperatures, more warm than we typically get at this point in the year. And then we will get a more typical front right behind that that will bring some colder weather. So let's take a look at our next graphic. So our temperature map is a beautiful green, which just means that we're going to be in the upper 40s, lower 50s. So it's going to definitely be a beautiful week. If you can't tell, I like warm weather. So let's take a look at our rainfall. So our rainfall is going to be below an inch this week. We are going to get some scattered showers throughout the week. They're not going to be too heavy, so not too much to look out for. So let's take a look at our next graphic. So our humidity for this week is a little bit higher than typical, especially Tuesday through Thursday, just in correlation with some of that precipitation that we're going to get throughout the week, especially on Tuesday and Thursday when we have a 40% chance on Tuesday and a 50% chance on Thursday. Let's take a look at our next graphic. So like I said, we did have some rain, or we do have some rain in our forecast, but we also have some sun, including Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe even Monday. So it will be a beautiful day, or a beautiful week. And like I said, you can look out for some of those nicer temperatures that we're going to get earlier on. And so we will return to some of our typical temperatures on Fridays at 39 degrees. But Saturday is definitely going to be a beautiful day, so make sure you get outside and enjoy some of that sun. That's all for this week's Falcon Forecast. I'm Jessica Fannin.
Thank you, Jessica. James, we are less than 2 weeks away from spring break, but that doesn't mean the events aren't happening, slowing down. Soraya Boyce brings you this week's campus calendar. Soraya.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's campus calendar. I'm Soraya Boyce, and we have exciting events coming up this week as we head into March. Let's see what we have in store. If you ever dreamed of becoming a DJ, tomorrow will be the night your dreams come true. On Tuesday, the Student Activity Boards will be hosting a DJ workshop. You'll have the opportunity to learn basic music skills and gain a new hobby. Check it out in Union. Make sure to sign up using the link in their bio and enjoy some crumble cookie. On Wednesday, don't miss the MAC semis final for the women's basketball team. Here at Messiah, they'll be going against Albright College for the playoffs, so make sure to show your love and support. Go Falcons! This Wednesday, the Arab Student Coalition will be hosting their first cabinet meeting. This club aims to represent community and foster growth among Arab students. Join them for their first greet and meet opportunity with some fun introductions, educational games, and snacks. You don't want to miss it. On Thursday, from 7 to 8, you'll have the chance to learn how to navigate boundaries and conflicts. Presented by the NCFR Club, this event will include trivia and some conflict resolution skills. Relationships can be hard, but you'll learn how to maintain them while enjoying some cake. On Friday, grab your friends and some popcorn for a movie screening of Pirates in the Caribbean hosted by the Lost Films. The first film premieres at 8 in Parma Cinema with a second showing on Saturday at 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Take some time to relax from your studies and enjoy the movie with your friends. And this Saturday, Shoeless Joe will premiere on Saturday from 8 to 10, the wonderful musical where some talented actors have been working so hard. And the show is directed by Susan Hurley. Tickets are $5, so you can purchase them online or at the door. Shoeless Joe is also continuing on Sunday at 3 p.m. So if you missed Saturday, you have an opportunity to do it again. SAB will be hosting an Oscar watch party at Larson Student Union from 7 to 10 p.m. So don't forget to enjoy a fun evening, Falcons. This is going to be a busy and fun week. That's all the news I have for you today. I'm Soraya Boyce. Now back to the desk.
Thank you, Soraya. Now, James, do you have a celebrity crush?
You know, I gotta say, I do. It's changed throughout the years, you know, based on my interests. At high school, more Zendaya, then I kind of shifted to Dua Lipa, Melissa Dingus, but I would say right now, probably Jenna Ortega. You?
I'm going to forget that you said that third one there, but I also have a couple, I will say, but I think right now with baseball starting back up again, it's got to be Adley Rutschman, catcher for the Orioles.
Good pick.
Just a stand-up guy.
I gotta say, I mean, he gets a couple playoff wins. I could see him cracking my list.
All right. Well, Charlie Jones asked people around campus who their celebrity crush was. Let's see what Charlie found.
What's up? I'm Charlie Jones, and for this week's Falcon on the Street, we're asking students in the Union who's their celebrity crush.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, the basketball player. Andrew Garfield, I think.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna have to go with LeBron James.
Ooh, solid. The GOAT.
Liam Hemsworth.
Ooh. Debatably the hottest Hemsworth.
He's a cutie. Yeah, way better than Chris. Way better.
Sebastian Stan.
Ooh, solid.
Andrew Garfield. That man is so fine.
Anne Hathaway.
The guy from Tangled.
Oh, Flynn Rider. Solid. Solid. Yeah, I see it.
Chapel Roan.
Gerard Butler.
Let's go Zac Efron.
Ooh, solid. High School Musical? Rush.
Debbie Gibson.
Debbie Gibson. And for you?
George Clooney.
Ooh, solid. Batman? He was good. How about you?
You never go wrong with Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, solid choice. A lot of Spider-Man love today.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Wait. Mother Mary.
Ella Mitchell, right here.
That's lovely. How about you?
I guess I have to say him. Drew Kazumel.
Thank you both so much for your time. Whew. Well, that sure was quite a lot of questions and a lot of great answers. But that's all for this week's Falcon on the Street. I'm Charlie Jones, sending it back to the desk.
Thanks, Charlie. For this week's Beyond the Breaches, we did not venture too far off campus. Jessica Fannin sat down with John Chopka to talk about how he went from the hills of Appalachia to the halls of academia, and the ways the Lord worked through all these moments in his life. Let's take a look.
So I was born to hippie parents. It was a great upbringing, but I lived in a house that had no indoor plumbing. We bathed in a creek, used an outhouse. We had 152 acres in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia.
John Chopka has been the vice president for enrollment management for the past 17 years at Messiah University, and here is his story.
But suffice it to say that the volatility in family life kept my grandma, my stepdad's mom, Grandma Ruby, kept her praying for me. And she had an uncanny way of swooping in during every family crisis, taking me to church when the rest of my family wasn't going to church. And it was about that time in my life where my heart opened to the message of Christ's grace, forgiveness, and salvation. My dad was an alcoholic, and he was a workaholic. He did some soul searching. And in 1979, my dad experienced the grace and forgiveness of Jesus. And it changed his life. He was able to give up those addictions that had brought so much volatility to the family. And I can tell you, sitting here today, it impacted his life, yes, but my entire family's life.
Fast forward to Chopka's young adult years.
I enrolled at Malone College as a first-generation college student. I tell people I've gone from the hills of Appalachia to the halls of academia. My dad's decision to follow Christ has impacted my generation and my children's generation, and I'll say many generations to come.
What an incredible story. Thank you, Jessica. Don't go anywhere. We've got the latest on Messiah Sports coming up with Danny and Cameron after this short break.
Messiah has helped me see my career anew because of the multiple opportunities that I have on campus to travel with the career centers. And so because of that, I've been able to obtain an internship through Messiah, and that's just amazing. I never would have gotten that opportunity without Messiah.
I've always had a strong love of the business world, but I always wanted to keep on growing my faith. And what Messiah helped me do was pair my faith with business so I could be a Christian in the workplace. The professors were role models of how to do that. What I learned in class taught me the interpersonal skills and the hard skills. Take two things that I loved, my faith and business, and pair that together moving forward.
The MSAT at Messiah University is a two-year master degree that's also paired with students that will be completing the 5-year accelerated MSAT, completing their bachelor's and their master's. We have experienced, dedicated, passionate athletic training faculty that are ready to teach the next generation of athletic trainers, to teach our students how to integrate their faith into their role as a healthcare provider. And we have a strong and growing list of clinical experiences that will allow students to experience athletic training in a variety of settings.
Absolutely filthy cold air. Boom goes the dynamite.
Welcome back to YBTV Sports here on Falcon Update. I'm Danny Johnson.
And I'm Cameron Fisher. It was yet another busy week here in Grantham with 9 Messiah teams in action.
The biggest game of the week came from men's basketball, where they would end their season at home with a huge 76-71 win over Stevenson. Christian Jackson and Caleb Lyles each tallied 16 points for the Falcons, while Johnny McBride had 10. Though it was an up-and-down season for the Falcons, the future is definitely bright here for Messiah.
Baseball was back in action for another weekend series, this time against the number 16 ranked Yellow Jackets of Randolph-Macon College. The Falcons dropped two of the 3 games, but a strong starting performance from Christian Foltz in Game 2 gave the Falcons a 1-0 win as Foltz pitched a complete game shutout.
Messiah Track and Field had their final meet before the Indoor MAC Championships this upcoming weekend. As the team split up to compete in 2 different meets, both teams had multiple podium finishes on the weekend and are looking to bring home the MAC Indoor title this upcoming weekend.
Now let's take a look at some standout performances from the past week in the latest edition of the Falcon 4. Our first highlight comes from the softball field in the second game of the Falcons' season-opening doubleheader against the Monarchs of Methodist University. Up 1 run and in a bases-loaded no-outs jam in the bottom of the 5th inning, the Falcons would make some history, started by Sierra Emery. Here we see Chinadurai with the pitch. Emery in right field throws the runner out at home to Rebecca Wiley. Methodist tries to steal second. Wiley throws to shortstop Hannah Dyer. The second runner tries to come home. Dyer throws back to Wiley, who applies the second tag. The ball pops out. The runner never touches home, and Allie Book tags the runner for the final out. We take a look here again, as that is just a very chaotic play, as I just mentioned. And there's the tag. Ball pops out there, and Allie Book realizes that there was no call. So this was just the second triple play in the 1,400 plus games played in program history. The Falcons would shut down the Monarchs and hold on for the 6-5 win. Allie Book led the day for the Falcons in Game 2, tallying 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored in addition to getting the final out of the triple play. The team is back in action Tuesday for a doubleheader at Eastern Mennonite University.
Let's take our next highlight to Owings Mill, Maryland, where Messiah women's basketball took on the Stevenson Mustangs. The Falcons went on a scoring spree with buckets like this one from Chloe Milanese. Emmy Faith Wood with a steal, up 13-2 early in the first. Chloe Milanese at the top of the key, dribbling around, giving it to her sister Charlotte Milanese, dribbling around, open Chloe Milanese, and a beautiful jump shot. And we'll see this again here in just a second. Emmy Faith Wood, beautiful steal, setting this up from the top of the key. Chloe Milanese dribbling it down, giving it to Charlotte Milanese, and just like that, finding her sister wide open on the left side, and a beautiful jumper for Chloe Milanese. That was just the beginning, and in order to keep Stevenson away, the Falcons went into lockdown defense. The Falcons dominated with a victory of 60-31 over the Mustangs. This was the Falcons' second to last game of the regular season, where they took the momentum into their last game against Eastern. They put on a show, beating the Eastern Eagles by a score of 71-37.
Taking this one to Hitchcock Arena, the men's volleyball team took a swing at the Blue Jays, hoping their odds would fly. The Falcons were leading 10-7 before Ryan Givens had a plan that was all in the cards. Here we see Givens back at the line to serve, and what a beautiful serve there by Ryan Givens. We look at it again, and it just veers off to the left. Givens wouldn't stop there, notching a second ace in a row. The following point, Tyler McConnell and Todd Snyder got in on the fun, each having 7 kills. Messiah took both games of the tri-match on Saturday against Eastern and Randolph, and the team will be back in action on Thursday when they travel to Frederick, Maryland to square off against the Blazers of Hood College.
And for our last highlight, we are going to take this one to the turf. Messiah Women's Lacrosse came to play as Jordan Lewicki added a beauty to their lead. Here, halfway through the third quarter, up 12-4, Messiah trying to find an opening in Juniata's defense, and just at the top of the perimeter, finds Jordan Lewicki in the middle and falling down, scores in the lower left hand part of the goal. We'll see this again. Juniata playing solid defense here, but nonetheless, up 12-4, they're on a scoring spree. Finds Jordan Lewicki in the middle, falling down, and a beauty of a goal here for Jordan Lewicki. This was just one of the 4 goals Lewicki scored against the Eagles as well. Her teammate Haley Lettinga also netted 4 goals to assist in the 17-6 victory over Juniata. The Falcons are in action again on Wednesday as they host the University of Mary Washington.
Another jam-packed week for Messiah Athletics has come to an end, and while we just highlighted some star players from our spring sports, I had the chance to sit down with a beloved soccer player and rising broadcaster, Ethan Gregory. A lot of people see Ethan as a soccer player or a reporter here on YBTV, but there's something about him that most fans may not know.
Ethan Gregory is a standout soccer player and a key member of Yellow Breeches Television. But did you know about his role within Messiah Athletic Communications?
I originally came into Messiah as a sport management major, wanting to go the athletic administration route, maybe even compliance. But after the soccer season ended my freshman year, I started working with Messiah Athletic Communications. I was broadcasting games, I was producing games, I was taking video, doing all these things, and I was like, man, this is awesome. I love this. This is a blast. So I was like, maybe I'll just switch my major to broadcasting and journalism.
For Gregory, the switch meant preparation, dedication, and sacrifice.
I usually spend 2 hours of just prep work on each game, and the basketball season it's a long haul. There's a lot of games, and I have to take the time to sit down, make sure I get my prep work done, make sure I prepare and I practice and get all the information that I need to in order to produce good content and to do a good job on the broadcast. Both organizations have helped me be a better team player. I mean, I enjoy being part of a team, but when I'm at YBTV, there's so many moving parts to a show. I mean, it's always chaos in the newsroom.
Amid the frenzy of the newsroom, staying grounded and focused helps transform chaos into clarity, bringing calm to the storm.
There's always times where you have to pivot when something goes wrong. You're always mindset switching super quickly onto something next. There's always a task at hand. And YBTV and both Messiah Athletic Communications have taught me that teamwork is extremely important in order for the whole grand scheme of the project to be successful, whether that's playing a soccer game. It's extremely important to have good teammates and to be a good team player and to be encouraging and to fight for your teammates.
Gregory understands the power of teamwork, and he's just as committed to supporting his team as he is to his own success.
Nobody's going to work harder than me on the field. Like I'm sprinting at every ball. I'm getting into the attack. I'm getting back on defense. Just working really, really hard. But also just the tactical mind of I think I do a good job of seeing plays happen before they happen, as well as good technical ability as well. I want to be the best version of myself so I can produce the best product, whether that's me playing on the soccer field or that's me speaking into a broadcasting mic.
It's the drive, the passion, and the dedication that make all the difference. For YBTV Sports, I'm Cameron Fisher.
That's a great story you did there, Cameron. But that is all we have for Falcon Update. But don't go anywhere because Libby Zimmerman will be bringing you this week's YB Tonight after the break. It's going to be a good one.
Good evening, Messiah, and welcome to YB Tonight. I'm Sarah Marshall.
Good evening, Messiah, and welcome to YB Tonight. I'm your host, Libby Zimmerman. Up first, I'll be talking to Thatcher Eby about Sanctuary, part of Messiah Student Ministries. Then I'll be talking to musical theater major Eleanor Mund, who will be performing for us. And that's all after the break.
Messiah has helped me see my faith anew, mainly through the experiences I've gone with other professors and other students. I think it's important to understand that as Christians, we are all different. We all come from different backgrounds and we have different life experiences. I think it's really important that we get to understand and hear and listen to these people, and it's something that we can take a small part of their life and put into ours.
Good evening, Messiah, and welcome to YB Tonight. I'm Sarah Marshall, your host.
Messiah has helped me see my faith anew, mainly through the experiences I've gone with other professors and other students. I think it's important to understand that as Christians, we are all different. We all come from different backgrounds and we have different life experiences. I think it's really important that we get to understand and hear and listen to these people, and it's something that we can take a small part of their life and put into ours.
Welcome back. I'm here with Thatcher Eby. Thatcher, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. We're happy to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about Sanctuary's main purpose at Messiah and as a ministry.
So Sanctuary is a spot where all students are invited, and we just really dive into questions they might have about their faith or their walk with God. And we accept all people, whether you've been walking with the Lord for years or you're very new to your faith. We just want to encourage and equip you to just deal with these problems that you might have, or these questions that are coming up in your faith as you're walking throughout your daily life. And if it's a really personal question, we also offer one-on-one mentoring, because some things are pretty sensitive to bring up in group settings. So any of the Sanctuary leaders are open to those one-on-one meetings, and we really just want to prepare and give you the necessary equipment to deal with these problems, because we don't have all the answers and no one does, but we do have the resources, and we want to help the students who are struggling with their faith and who are dealing with these questions.
Yeah, that's so cool. I think that's a great mission that you guys have. So if anybody's interested in going, when and where do you guys typically meet?
So we meet on Thursdays at 4:30 to 6 in the prayer chapel. The prayer chapel is located in the basement of Miller, and it's just pretty easy. You go around the back of Miller and you just swipe your key card and you can just come right on in, and we will just be, a few of us will already be there.
Okay, very cool. So what does a typical meeting usually look like topics that you guys might cover, or just kind of what the environment is like?
So a typical meeting will look like we just hang out and talk for about 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, wait till everybody gets there, and then we'll open it up in prayer, and then we'll dive into some scripture. And then after reading that scripture that relates to the topic of the week, we just go right into the conversation, and then we wrap everything up with one-on-ones with just people around asking questions, and kind of a review question that kind of encompasses the conversation we just had. So some of the topics we've had recently is, what is hell? Or this next topic that we're about to have is, why does a good God allow bad things to happen? So we really tackle these hard questions that people might have.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you kind of answered this a little bit, just touched on it, but what would you say is like the main goal of what you want students to get out of Sanctuary?
So we want students to not feel shame or doubt with these questions that they're struggling with. We want them to be equipped and see these doubts and questions as an opportunity to grow instead of a place to be shameful and hide. So we really want to see students fully going into these questions and tackling it with every resource and everything they have.
That's so great. I just love hearing you talk about this. It seems like you're very passionate about this, and I think that that's so great that we have this opportunity for students on campus. So Thatcher, occasionally we do some games here on YBTV with some of our guests, and for tonight's show we have a little bit of a game for you. It's called Name That Verse. So basically I'm going to read a Bible verse without the reference, and you can say what you think the reference is.
All right.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. But will you receive power when the Holy Spirit comes to you, and you will be my witness in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth.
Is it somewhere in early Acts?
It is, yeah.
Is it Acts 5 or 6?
A little earlier. Like really early.
Acts 1?
Yeah.
I have no idea for the verse. Acts 1:10.
You're really close. Do you want to guess again, or I can?
I give up.
It's Acts 1:8. Oh. But you were really close. Okay, second one. We have two more. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your greatness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God.
Oh, I know that verse. Romans?
You're in the right half of the Bible.
Ephesians?
You have the right ending of the book. Like the ends is correct.
Galatians.
Right before those two.
Corinthians. I give up.
It's Philippians 4, 4 through 6. That was tricky. It was like you got a double in there.
I remember the scripture.
I'm the same way. I'm like, I can get the references or I can get the actual scripture, but I have a hard time.
Not the references, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last one. The law was brought in so that the trespass might increase. But where sin increased, grace increased all the more, so that just as sin reigned in death, so also grace might reign through righteousness, to bring eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Seems like a letter Paul wrote. Corinthians? Is it a letter Paul wrote?
Yes. Sorry, I had to think about it. You guessed this book for the last one.
Galatians.
No.
Ephesians.
No. It was the first one you guessed.
Oh, Romans.
Yeah.
Okay. Romans 5?
Yes.
32?
Close. A little earlier.
26?
A little bit earlier.
25?
A little bit earlier.
24?
You're getting closer, I promise.
22?
A little bit earlier. It's two verses.
Romans 5, 18 to 20.
A little bit later. We're just playing hot and cold, but you're almost there.
20 to 22?
21.
21.
But you got it. You did better than I think I would have done. You did great. And now, back to the interview. So, how did you first get involved with Sanctuary?
So I got involved with Sanctuary through my friend Micah. He's on the prayer team for student ministry, and he invited me along for a few things, and then that's where Todd, he reached out to me. He is now the student director, and he shot me a personal email, and he was like, hey, I think you would be really good for this position in Sanctuary, and he's like, you like to ask deep questions, you like to really struggle and like deal with these things and like think deeply. I think you would be a good fit. And if it wasn't for Todd reaching out to me, then I don't think I would be in the position I am today.
Yeah, that's so cool. I really love how, as a community of Christians here at Messiah, we have that effect on each other. I think it really helps to strengthen us individually through each other, which I think is so great, building that community. So what would you say is your biggest takeaway or something that you've learned the most since joining with Sanctuary?
I'd say the biggest thing I learned was different people can view different scriptures and different questions in a totally different way. One question, like how I interpret a question, is totally different from how someone else might. And that really just opens my eyes to just how many different interpretations there are to questions and also Bible verses, and just whether those interpretations are different interpretations God has given us or different ones that we have gained through life experiences. We all perceive things differently from one another, and that's what makes us unique and special. So.
Yeah, that's so cool. I know I'm saying that a lot, but I think this is so great. So why do you think students should get involved with Sanctuary? Again, you've kind of talked about that, but if you had like a pitch that you had to give.
I'd say we all deal with doubts and questions in our faith. No one has the perfect faith. And so when we are going through life and we're trying to go through it alone without a community behind us, helping us take the right path, then oftentimes we can get lost or stray from the path. And Sanctuary is a spot where even if you aren't far from that path, you're still walking on that path, getting encouraged by the questions that you might have is always a great thing, and no harm can ever come from it.
Yeah. So we're almost coming to a close with our interview, but is there anything that I missed or anything that you'd like to talk about while you're here? Maybe just some like easy ways that students can get involved?
Some easy ways students can get involved. There are a lot of student min events that happen around campus. For example, tomorrow, Sanctuary is hosting an event in the upper part of Union. It's a hot chocolate giveaway, so we're just there to connect with students who might be walking past. So if you ever want to just step out in a small way, just pop out to a student min event and just have a conversation with one of the people there, and I promise it won't disappoint.
Thank you so much. I know I've learned a lot from this interview. I hope some of our viewers have as well, and it was really great having you on the show tonight. After the break, I'll be interviewing Eleanor Munn, so stay tuned.
Christian universities recruit from a pool of prospective students who vary greatly in their Christian denominational backgrounds and faith traditions. In a way, each student could be portrayed as a different colored piece of glass. Some Christian universities may seek only one subset of students, let's say these red pieces of glass. Others might prefer to recruit different subsets of students, blue pieces of glass, for example. Still others may welcome many colors of glass, but still see it as their mission to make students' incoming colors more uniform, to change them all to purple, for example, by the time they graduate. But at Messiah University, we take a different approach. Messiah's vision of reconciliation welcomes students from a wide variety of Christian traditions and backgrounds, symbolized by many more colors. We call this the Messiah metaphor. At Messiah, each student brings a valuable perspective that is celebrated, appreciated, and allowed to remain distinct. In the grace of our shared love of Christ, and in our worship, study, and service, we combine our individual colors into a community that is more beautiful together, like a strong and vibrant stained glass window. And the insight that is born in all of us is the light that shines through. Together, we see anew.
Welcome back. I'm here with Eleanor Munn. Oh my goodness. Eleanor, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So we're talking about your background with music this week. Do you have anything specific, like kind of how you came into getting into music. Oh my goodness, how you came into getting into music, or how your love for it grew, kind of.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been singing since I can remember, which I think a lot of people who grew up in the church can relate to. I went to a church that really heavily emphasized singing hymns, and a lot of my friends figured out how to harmonize really young. So all those kinds of things were just a major part of my life. I only really got into thinking that I wanted to be a singer when I got into like high school, because I got really into theater and I got really into musical theater. And so that kind of pushed me into wanting to take voice lessons and, up my skill in that area.
Okay, so kind of bouncing off that a little, do you have like a specific musical that kind of sparked your interest into singing, or like a specific role that you played that you were like, I want to be a singer?
Yeah, actually, the first musical I saw that made me want to do musical theater specifically was actually Seussical the musical. It's very silly, but
a core musical for all of us.
It's one of the four horsemen of the musical world. But yeah, that was the first one where I was like, oh, I want to do that. I think I've less had interest in, I want to be a singer, but I really want to be an actor who sings, an actor who tells stories through song. So I think that's been a really important thing for me to focus on too.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. So you're going to be singing for us tonight and playing guitar, but do you play any other instruments? Are there any other musical talents you have hidden?
So kind of. During COVID, I picked up the ocarina. I'm not very proficient. It's very beginner's level, and I can play a little bit of piano, but guitar is what I've been playing mostly my whole life. So.
Electric or just acoustic?
Just acoustic. I played electric guitar once, I think, in my life. Yeah.
It has a different vibe to it, for sure.
Yeah, it does.
So how would you say that music has impacted your life?
I think, similarly to what I was saying before, I think it's just always been a very natural part of my life. My parents were always playing music in the car, and I grew up really loving a lot of my dad's music from, anywhere from the 60s to the 90s. He listened to it all. And I think recently I've definitely gotten more into folk music, protest songs, things like that, where I've really seen how music can be used as a means of social change, which I think is really cool. And I think that's been a really important part of musicianship for me as I've gotten older.
Yeah. So jumping from that a little bit, you're a musical theater major. So I know that you guys kind of have different shows going on throughout the year. Do you have anything coming up soon? I know Shoeless Joe is in the works.
Yes, so Shoeless Joe is this weekend. I'm not in that, but there is a fantastic cast. I've heard it's going to be a little bit jazzy. And then Anything Goes is coming up in April, I think. Yes, the first 2 weeks of April. And that's going to be lots of tap dancing, lots of dancing, period. And it's such a fun time. It's so silly. Lots of slapstick comedy. It's just a really good time.
Will you be performing in that one?
Yes, yeah. My character's name is Virtue. I'm one of the backup chorus singers for Reno, so I'm a little sassy,
It's such a fun part.
Yeah.
I've seen the musical before. It's an amazing show.
Yeah, it's so fun. I'm very excited.
Yeah, and I heard you are also traveling to Ireland this summer to study theater there.
Yeah, we're going to Dublin in May to early June, and we're just going to be doing a pretty intense 3-week study, and I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, it sounds like a really great opportunity, like a learning opportunity, but also just to grow with other theater majors.
Absolutely. We'll be living in pretty close quarters, so I'm really excited to bond with everyone.
Yeah. So what would you say is your favorite part of being a performer or musical theater?
I think my favorite part of being a performer is getting to step inside somebody else's shoes. I think my favorite part of working in theater is the aspect of having to consider why a certain person acts a certain way and communicate that to your audience. So I also think it's just really cool to be able to move people through acting and through stories. Something I always talk about is one of the primary ways that Jesus would teach lessons was through parables and stories, and I feel a big connection to that through my, that's the thing I want to do with my theater, is just tell stories.
I had the opportunity to see you in Bog of Cats this past fall, and it was amazing. It was truly a moving story, so I can really see how you've been using that gift from God in your own life and just seeing you play that out.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So you're going to be performing for us tonight, like we've talked about a couple times, but how did you choose the song that you chose and kind of like why, I guess the background of why you're going to be performing that for us tonight?
Yeah, so I thought about doing a musical theater song, but like I said, I've been listening to a lot of folk recently, and I also recently saw, as many people might have, the new Bob Dylan movie, and that also really kickstarted my listening to a lot of older folk. And The Times They Are A-Changin', which I'm singing, really struck a chord with me right now, and I think it's really cool to look at how songs that people wrote 50, 60, 70 years ago can still apply to us today. So that's kind of what I chose it for, and I also just think Bob Dylan's a great artist, love his lyrics, and I feel most comfortable when I'm just kind of strumming a guitar and singing a little ditty, so I thought I'd go with something a little more comfortable.
Yeah, I think it's cool too to see how you're a little bit more versatile too, like you do musical theater, but you also have this love for music and just music itself. And kind of with that, do you have any musical artists that have inspired you? I know you just talked about how Bob Dylan and his music has been kind of an inspiration to you, but is there anybody else that you would say you look to in music?
Yeah, so I love Adrienne Lenker, gorgeous music. I've always been a big Billy Joel fan. The Oh Hellos, I had a big phase with them for a while. I like to listen to all sorts of genres. So I think it's hard to pinpoint a favorite, but definitely recently I've been going straight to Adrienne Lenker, who's very much beautiful lyrics and, high folksy tunes. So I'm really into her. And also I really like Noah Kahan, which I know is definitely a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is there anything that I missed tonight? Any ways that we could, I guess, find your music or keep in contact with where you'll be performing next?
Yeah, so what's really cool is I am also performing in a senior show coming up at the end of March, and I'll be doing some guitar in that. There's a song that some of my friends wrote for the show that I'll be performing, which, if you want to see it, come by, hear it. It's an original song. It's very cool. And then, of course, Anything Goes at the beginning of April, and then Sheila's show this weekend. It's going to be amazing, so hope to see you there.
Yeah, super excited to see you in all these upcoming performances. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll be right back with Eleanor's performance after the break.
I think one of the major distinctives of a Messiah University nursing degree is our Christ preeminent approach to our teaching. We really focus on teaching students that they are the hands and feet of Christ. At Messiah University, we offer a very robust menu of nursing programs. We have our 4-year traditional BSN program in person here on campus, and then we offer a variety of online nursing programs. For example, we have the RN to BSN degree completion, 2 master's tracks, and then we have the dual degree, MSN, MBA degree, as well as 2 Doctor of Nursing practice tracks. And then we also offer postmaster's certificates in nursing administration and nursing education. We have maintained and sustained a very high NCLEX pass rate, the National Council Licensing Exam for registered nurses. As well, we are fully accredited by the Commission on Collegiate Nursing Education. We also prepare our students here at Messiah University by introducing them to a variety of clinical scenarios in our simulation labs. And so students have an opportunity to practice clinical, hands-on care before they encounter that experience in the clinical setting. Many of our nursing faculty are still practicing as a nurse clinician in the specialty in which they teach. And that's true at the graduate level and the undergraduate level. We've been teaching nursing students at Messiah University for more than 3 decades. And over those years, our Messiah graduates have earned a stellar reputation in our community. They are known for their compassionate caring, for their expert clinical skills, and really importantly, for their ethical approach to care. And so our community agencies and our clinical partners really value Messiah graduates.
Welcome back. Eleanor, take it away.
Gather round people wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you'll better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can lend a hand, for the times they are a-changing. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, and the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changing.
Wow, that was incredible. So thank you so much for performing for us tonight. And I believe that's all we have for this edition of YB Tonight. Good night, Messiah.